The big focus that we have for you this evening is the latest update coming from the state of Uttarakhand. The suspense is finally over. 45-year-old Pushkar Singh Dhami is going to become the next Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. He's a two-time legislator from Khatima constituency in Uttarakhand's Kumaon region and has been chosen by Uttarakhand BJP Legislature Party to become the 11th Chief Minister of the hill state. He's going to be the third Chief Minister that people of Uttarakhand will be getting in just last 4 months. Amid infighting and diminishing chances of getting elected to the state legislative assembly by September 10th, Tirath Singh Rawat resigned from the post of Chief Minister on Friday night. He remained the Chief Minister for just about 114 odd days. Now, Pushkar Singh Dhami has got ties with the RSS, has served as the state president of Uttarakhand, arm of BJP's youth wing, Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha. Listen into these reactions.
जी बहुत धन्यवाद आप लोगों का सबका। और देखिए, मेरी पार्टी ने जो एक सामान्य से कार्यकर्ता को, एक पूर्व सैनिक के पुत्र को, जो कि एक सामान्य परिस्थितियों में पिथौरागढ़ के सीमांत जिले में मैं पैदा हुआ, कनाली छेना तहसील में, जो कि पहले की डीडीहाट तहसील होती थी, और खटीमा मेरा विधानसभा क्षेत्र है, मेरी कर्मभूमि है, मुझे सेवा का अवसर दिया है। मैं निश्चित रूप से अपने पार्टी के हाईकमान को, माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी को, माननीय गृह मंत्री जी को, हमारे राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष जी को, पूरे हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व को और प्रदेश के नेतृत्व को पूरा करेंगे सर। देखिए, जो भी जनता के जो मुद्दे हैं, उन मुद्दों पर हम लोग जो है लगातार सबका सहयोग लेकर, सब लोगों को लेकर काम करेंगे।
सर्वसम्मति से फैसला हुआ है तो अभी बात करने के लिए, और पुष्कर धामी एक नौजवान हैं, ऊर्जावान हैं, और निश्चित आगे 2022 उनके नेतृत्व में हम सब लोग फतेह करेंगे।
देखिए, निश्चित रूप से संवैधानिक संकट के कारण ये परिस्थितियाँ पैदा हुई, लेकिन भारतीय जनता पार्टी के शीर्ष नेतृत्व ने जो सोच समझकर एक चयन किया है, और जिस प्रदेश में 65% नौजवान रहते हों और वहाँ एक नौजवान को नेतृत्व दिया है, तो निश्चित रूप से बहुत अच्छा इसका परिणाम मिलेगा। और इस पूरे घटनाक्रम में प्रस्ताव जो है माननीय वर्तमान मुख्यमंत्री तीरथ सिंह रावत जी ने दिया, और उसका समर्थन
धामी जी का समर्थन सबने किया। पुष्कर सिंह धामी के नाम
सर्वसम्मत से ये चुनाव हुआ है।
अच्छा, तो अभी कब सोच रहे हैं सर आप लोग की सरकार बनाने के लिए कब जाएंगे?
निश्चित रूप से मैं लगता है कि अभी तो डिसाइड नहीं हुआ, लेकिन आज ही शायद मुख्यमंत्री जी शपथ ले लेंगे।
तो अगले चीफ मिनिस्टर उत्तराखंड के पुष्कर सिंह धामी है
निश्चित रूप से।
And here's how the family members of Pushkar Singh Dhami reacted to this big development.
दादी नहीं देख पाए, बहुत ही दुख हो रहा थोड़ा, और बहुत खुशी हो रही है, बहुत दौड़ भाग हुई, बहुत परेशानी होती, बहुत लगता था, बहुत परेशान हुआ, बहुत देश के लिए बहुत मेहनत करता है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा, कभी प्रतिमा नहीं रहता, कभी नहीं।
Putting an end to all the speculations, Bharatiya Janata Party today announced that Pushkar Singh Dhami will be the new Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Now, Pushkar Singh Dhami is an MLA from Khatima constituency, and he has lots of experience of working with the RSS, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad and Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha. Now, the biggest challenge in front of Pushkar Singh Dhami is that how exactly he will take the party forward, given the fact in few months from now the assembly elections will take place. And also there were news according to the sources that there's discontent within the party and whether all the MLAs are on the same page with the selection of Pushkar Singh Dhami as the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand. Now, the senior leader spoke to us and they clearly said that everybody in a consensual decision clearly named Pushkar Singh Dhami as the Chief Minister of the state. But we have to wait and watch how exactly Pushkar Singh Dhami will keep the flock together for the upcoming elections, because this time around it will be a three-year fight between BJP, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party. With camera person Sanjeev Chetri, Mohit Bhatt reporting for Times Now in Dehradun.
Let's now go across to my colleague Mohit Bhatt, who's been tracking this story very, very closely from Dehradun since morning, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mohit, now there is a concern about keeping the flock together ahead of the crucial assembly elections in Uttarakhand, which are just less than a year away now. And as you were telling us that this time it's going to be a triangular fight. So what kind of challenges are going to be there for Mr. Dhami from here on?
Well, Hina, the biggest challenge for Mr. Dhami is to keep the flock together, given the fact that how there has been discontent among the BJP, we know that Satpal Maharaj, Dhan Singh Rawat, and there are various contenders who are in the CM's race. But we know that BJP is a party which decides at the top brass that who exactly would be the chief minister, and the speculations or the reports by the sources do not have any bearing on what the BJP decides. Now, the biggest challenge in front of Pushkar Singh Dhami is that how he will keep the BJP as a party together. He is somebody who has worked with the RSS for a long time. He is somebody who has been with the ABVP, the student wing of the RSS and the BJP, for almost 10 years. And he was also with the Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha. So the biggest challenge in front of him is that within few months from now, we will have the Uttarakhand elections, and whether he will be able to keep the flock together of the BJP is the biggest challenge. Hina, today I was reporting from the BJP state headquarters, and I saw Satpal Maharaj after the announcement leaving from the headquarters. We tried to speak to him. He did not speak. Dhan Singh Rawat and Satpal Maharaj were the first persons who left the office and did not speak to the media. Other MLAs spoke to the media and they said there is a consensus among the MLAs and the party that Pushkar Dhami should be the chief minister. So whether Satpal Maharaj and Dhan Singh Rawat are on the same page as the party high command, we have to wait and watch, because Dhan Singh Rawat and Satpal Maharaj were the ones when Devendra Singh Rawat was removed from the CM's post, they were the top contenders, and this time around they were also the top contenders. So to keep the flock together and to go into the election as a united party.
Point that you've raised, Mohit. Thank you very much for the moment, for joining us with all of those details. We'll of course see how BJP will have to respond to these particular issues. Let's now move on, and there's another very, very important story that we've got for you, and this is from the state of Uttar Pradesh, and that's our big debate as well this evening. Ahead of crucial Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections next year, BJP has made a clean sweep in Zilla Panchayat elections for the chairman's post. With its ally, BJP has managed to secure 67 out of 75 seats. Now, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath credits Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the spectacular victory. Samajwadi Party, meanwhile, has managed to get only 6 seats. Listen in.
अध्यक्ष पद के चुनाव में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की ऐतिहासिक विजय और समाजवादी पार्टी की करारी पराजय के कारण से मुझे तो बहुत प्रसन्नता है, क्योंकि एक बार फिर से अहंकार हारा है, गुंडागर्दी हारी है, जंगल राज लाने वाले हारे हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ऐतिहासिक सफलता मिली है। और प्रदेश की जनता को भी बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं कि उन्होंने गुंडा राज आने से रोकने में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का साथ दिया है।
कुल 25 वोट हैं लखनऊ जिला पंचायत में, जिसमें से 14 वोट आरती रावत जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की प्रत्याशी हैं उनको मिला है और 11 वोट समाजवादी पार्टी के प्रत्याशी को मिला है। ये जीत हुई, निष्पक्ष चुनाव हुआ है, पारदर्शिता का चुनाव है।
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, Debate Number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the broadcast this evening is Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP. We have with us Professor Sangeet Ragi, who is a political analyst, Ghanshyam Tiwari, who is National Spokesperson from Samajwadi Party, and Sujata Paul, who is a political analyst as well. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Times Now this evening. Sanju Verma, congratulations. Spectacular victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party ahead of the Assembly elections there.
Thank you.
But what does it really mean for the opposition?
I basically just want to stress on one thing, that today, by any stretch of imagination, by any reasonable yardstick, if there is one national party in the true sense of the term, without any ifs or buts whatsoever, it is the Bharatiya Janata Party with more than 18.5 crore members and counting. And why we are the only party to beat today is because, as they say in Hindi, hamara kaam bolta hai. You know, while the others in the opposition can keep breaking up these Hindu-Muslim polarizing issues, and while you have the Hathras lobby led by the likes of Rahul, Priyanka, what have you, who shed crocodile tears last year, and after that, there's not even been an iota of remorse on the rapes in Rajasthan, showcasing their hypocrisy. Where we stand out is the fact, as JP Nadda ji has said often, हमारे पास नीति है, नियत है, कार्यकर्ता है, कार्यक्रम है और चाल चरित्र भी है. So I think for anyone to match up to the 24/7 kind of work that is done day and night by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Yogi Adityanath, it is absolutely impossible. People can come to television debates and they can mock at the BJP, but in their heart of hearts they know that every other party today is either a regional or vernacular party which is struggling to survive with a presence in not more than 1, 2 or 3 states at the most. And I think that in this particular Zilla Panchayat elections, while you may say that this is a small microcosm of, things to come and not necessarily a proxy to the larger picture, the way I look at it, I think this is a vote for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas mantra, which is more than just a mere slogan. It is an abiding work ethic for us, Hina. And imagine 65 out of 75 seats is a massive strike rate of 87%. Congress has yet again, with a big zero, been proud enough to say they won a moral victory. And as for Samajwadi Party, despite all the bravado in the last couple of months, 6 out of 75 means a pathetic strike rate of 8%.
Okay, let's get Samajwadi Party to now respond to this. 6 out of 75, Ghanshyam Tiwari. Shouldn't this serve as an eye-opener for Samajwadi Party?
Good evening, Hina, and good evening to my fellow panelists and your viewers. This victory for Bharatiya Janata Party is as spectacular for them as they see the Rafale deal. And for anyone who knows the reality, it is as real as the Rafale scam. As far as what BJP would want to believe that people of Uttar Pradesh voted, the reality is that BJP was routed in the Panchayat elections. The members who were elected by people had to vote. Those members were taken away, kidnapped by the administration, hijacked by the administration, put into fake cases, their houses bulldozed. They were not allowed to vote. Fake people were sent to vote. It is the administration hijacking the democracy in Uttar Pradesh. If BJP, the Prime Minister, the chief, the chief director as well as chief superstar of Rafale deal is ready to pat Adityanath, then I think I would just hold on to my point of view that for BJP
one
it is...
second. Sanju Verma, 1 second. Sanju Verma, 1 second. 1 second.
I'm sorry. You will
1 second, Sanju Verma. I'll come to you. I'll come to you for a response, Sanju Verma. Let him complete, because then he will say that I don't give him enough time to complete.
You cannot allow him to derail the...
Yes, let him complete. I'll give you time. Sanju Verma, I'll come to you. I'll give you time to respond. I don't want an allegation that I was not giving equal opportunity to all my guests. So let him finish. Yes, Ghanshyam Tiwari, you've completed your point.
My summary point to your viewers is that BJP will present this as a spectacular deal like the Rafale deal, but underneath it is a spectacular, extraordinary and sorry scam like the Rafale scam. People of Uttar Pradesh know it. Maybe Sanju Verma does not know it. Maybe
Ghanshyam
some of your viewers know
I
it.
had asked you a very specific question. I did not ask you on the performance of the BJP here. I am asking that to Sanju Verma. I asked you about the performance of Samajwadi Party. 6 out of 75. Shouldn't this serve as an eye-opener? Or you think it's BJP which took away all the seats?
It's an election hijacked by administration for BJP, using everything from Gundaism
election
to
hijack.
fake,
That's the charge. Now, Sanju Verma, please come in, because even Akhilesh Yadav has now suggested that there was some kind of foul play involved. How will you like to respond?
Ideally, today is such a spectacular day for the BJP. I would have assumed that Ghanshyam Tiwari, who's a very well-read person, would have shown some magnanimity, some generosity to congratulate the Bharatiya Janata Party. But given that, he suffers from this conspiracy theory complex and persecution complex, his allegations at the BJP are frivolous, and I'm not surprised that his pettiness. Let me tell you clearly that each time you level allegations that the elections are hijacked, you are not actually leveling allegations at the BJP. You're making a mockery of the electorate. You're making a mockery of the mandate given by the people of this country. When we won only 77 seats in Bengal, despite it being a spectacular 2,500% rise from the 3 seats we won in 2016, not once did we say that the Election Commission rigged the polls. We take victory and defeat in our stride, and that is what sets us apart. Unlike the other political parties which keep whining, fretting, fuming, but never want to do any kind of introspection on why they are getting wiped out in one election after the other.
Okay, Sanju Verma, I got your point. Let me now go across to other guests as well. We've got views from both the BJP as well as Samajwadi Party. Now, Professor Sangeet Ragi, I want to understand from you, how do you see the results here and what do they really mean for the assembly elections, upcoming assembly elections in the state of Uttar Pradesh? Does it reflect the lackadaisical approach of the opposition there, or BJP being too aggressive even with small elections like these?
I think that I was expecting a better answer based on the facts from Ghanshyam Tiwari. Rightly said so that he is a well-read person, but he is less than honest in assessing the the history of the BJP. For any success, you need organizational structure, leadership, and the performance by the party in power. I think on all three counts, the Bharatiya Janata Party supersedes both the Samajwadi Party and the BSP. And Congress stands nowhere. There were so many euphoria created in the last couple of months that Priyanka Gandhi is in charge of Uttar Pradesh. They will be doing some kind of a wonder story in the state. But that doesn't come to the picture at all anywhere. I think that, but at the same time, I would be saying that 87% strike rate at the Jila Panchayat doesn't mean that the Bharatiya Janata Party will be doing or repeating the same success story even in the assembly election. So they will have to be very careful from here. They cannot afford to be complacent from here. They will have to work very hard on the ground. And the most interesting part was that we were expecting that all opponents of the BJP were expecting something different kind of results, particularly in the area of Bulandshahr, in the western Uttar Pradesh, but you find that whether it is Awadh Prant or Awadh area or the Bulandshahr or the western Uttar Pradesh, the success has gone in favor of the BJP. So BJP has, today the BJP has every reason to enjoy this and to be very happy with the result. And that certainly reflects on the leadership of Yogi and his government in the state. But the point is that whether BJP will be repeating the same success story in the assembly elections in times to come, I think that BJP, if the BJP performs in the similar pattern, I don't think that I don't see if you read the statement of the BSP and Samajwadi Party, I don't find that federation of political parties are going to come into existence before the 2022 elections. And in absence of that, I think that the BJP will have a clean sweep again in the assembly election, provided that they don't make any major mistake in the election.
Right, of course, picture abhi baki hai. That's in a way you're trying to suggest, and definitely BJP should be congratulated for this victory. But then the assembly elections are going to be the real test, and that's something we'll be watching out very, very closely. Stay on with us, Professor Ragi. Now, Sujata Paul, as far as Congress is concerned, even in Raebareli and Amethi, BJP-supported candidates have won. So, of course, these elections have, in a way, given us a glimpse of what the situation is on the ground, how the perception is of political parties like the Congress, the Samajwadi Party, the BSP. What do you have to say about the results that have come out, and shouldn't this serve as an eye-opener for the opposition? I had asked that question to Mr. Ghanshyam Tiwari, but he started talking about Rafale. But then how do you see this?
at what has happened, we must look at it in a very objective manner. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
All right. Yes. So let me be very clear about what has happened. This has happened during the Samajwadi Party time also, one. That, there have been unopposed candidates winning and so on and so forth. But in these elections, what we have seen is a very strange kind of struggle, I would say. Because if you look at the tweet that you have been showing of the CM, it clearly does not mention Prime Minister Modi's name anywhere. This is my first point. This has never ever happened after any victory, and you know that very well. Second point is that, when nominations were filed, people were either not allowed to file their nomination if they were opposing the BJP candidate, or they were made to withdraw them. And a case in point is a place like Ghaziabad, where there was, a single person who was filing nominations.
Sorry, Sujata, I'm just interrupting you there. Before you, tell us about other concerns, you said that you have not seen Prime Minister Modi's name in the tweets by the Chief Minister. But the tweet that I have in front of me by Yogi Adityanath, it says, उत्तर प्रदेश में जिला पंचायत अध्यक्ष पद के चुनाव में भाजपा की ऐतिहासिक विजय आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की लोक कल्याणकारी नीतियों का प्रतिफल है. What were you talking about?
Yes, I'll tell you what I'm saying. Look at the way in which he has put it. It's very clear that it is due to the policies. Otherwise, normally, they always tag the Prime Minister. That is what I was saying. Of course, he's mentioned him, but what I'm saying is this is, not the manner in which they normally do. Anyhow, that's a very minor point. What I'm saying is that either people who were opposing the BJP were not allowed to file nominations.
Would you like to respond to this? Because Prime Minister Modi has not been tagged here. Prime Minister Modi has also not tagged the UP Chief Minister. He has also congratulated, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
He's the Prime Minister, Hina, so he always does it in this manner only. Okay. But if you look at all the previous ones, it's different. But let me complete, please, Sanju Verma. Can I complete?
Okay, Sanju, let's give her 10 more seconds, then I'll come to you for a reaction.
Sure.
Yes, 10 seconds, Sujata. I have very little time.
Yes. So, but if you look at, Mamta Kishore from Bagpat, what happened in her case was that she was forced not to file a nomination, and finally she went away to Bharatpur, Rajasthan on the last day of the withdrawal, of the date of withdrawal. She was in Rajasthan, but there was somebody who, in her name, withdrew her papers. And today she has won. So that is the Jayate. That is a question on the election.
So that's an allegation. That's an allegation. A similar allegation was made by Ghanshyam Tiwari as well. Sanju Verma, I give you the last word. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Hina, I just want to say one thing. This whole narrative about there being a divide between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Yogi Adityanath is a figment of the opposition's imagination. Point number one. Point number two. Let no one be under any illusion that the big mandate in the Zilla Panchayat elections for the BJP are because of the various development projects which are a part of central government schemes and schemes initiated by Yogi Adityanath. For instance, look at the fact that, we set up a fertilizer unit, which will be functional in a couple of years in Gorakhpur, or the ethanol plant that is coming up at Dhuriapur, or the beautification of the Ramgarh Tal, or the fact that you have the 8-lane Delhi-Meerut expressway, or the fact that we have waived off loans to the tune of 36,000 crore for more than 86 lakh farmers, or the fact that 66,000 crore by way of MSP payout in the last 4 years was given to farmers from Uttar Pradesh alone, or the fact that 1.25 lakh crore was given to the Ganna Kisans of Uttar Pradesh. Look at the 4 lakh crore worth of investments into Uttar Pradesh. I mean, if you look at the whole thing in entirety, and the fact that the crime conviction rate is the highest with criminals having a really tough time and the crime graph going down.
I know
There
you're
is
fantastic
no reason
with
why the
numbers, Sanju Verma, but I'm completely out of time. So you're clearly trying to suggest that this is a result of the kind of policies that Yogi government has brought in the state of Uttar Pradesh. But of course, the real test is going to be the assembly elections. I'm completely out of time. Sanju Verma, Professor Sangeet Ragi, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Sujata Paul, appreciate all of you for joining us here on Times Now. Heading into a short break.
The News Hour Special Edition will be right back after this break.